Hi guys, and welcome to the Senuke account creation training video. I firmly believe that the best way to learn automation is by watching lots and lots of examples. So this is going to be a very thorough example of how to create an account creation script. So first, let's create an account creation project. We'll leave the name the same. Double click the project. Now over here, before we start creating the script, let's fill in all the fields because that really makes things simple. So I'm just going to put in a random email address, even though this email address doesn't really exist. And let's go down. In this case, I'm going to create a bookmarking script. So right click, add script. And from here, let's pick bookmarking. So for this example, let's automate delicious.com. It's a popular bookmarking website. The process for automating most account creations is very, very similar. So it doesn't really matter which site we use as an example. Okay. So this is the screen that pops up when we create the script. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to automate filling in all the fields, pressing the submit button, and creating the account. So let's start off. Once we get to this page, the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a wait for step. After every navigate step or every click a button step, we want to add a wait for step that makes sure that the correct page is loaded before you move any farther. So let's wait for this piece of text. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is, after waiting for that piece of text, is to click this button. Now, whenever you're choosing a particular element, make sure to look through the outer HTML and try to identify any random numbers that look like they might change every single time the page is loaded. In this case, we don't see any such random numbers, so I'm just going to press save. And now let's right click and run this step. Okay, so it loaded up the next page. Now we want to add another wait for step. So we could either use this text, we could use this text, any piece of text that you think the next page should have before moving on to further steps. So once it finds that piece of text, then let's click this button, this link. Now this is an example of what I was talking about. You see these long list of random numbers. These numbers look like they might change every single time the page is loaded. So what we're going to do is we're just going to replace these numbers with a wildcard character, which was described in the basic training video. So the wildcard character can take the place of any random characters, letters, numbers, anything. Okay, so now let's run the step. Okay, now let's wait for this piece of text again. Now let's start filling in all these fields. So the value here is user ID, which is correct. The value here is, let's pick email. The value here is, it says the full name. So we can do random first name and then add a space after that and then do random last name. So that's going to create a full name for you. Or you can add specific name that you want. You can type in the actual name here, and you can use spin syntax to vary the name. Okay, now let's scroll down. The element selector, it can be disabled by pressing the escape key as well. So let's choose password. Now, Senuke does have the ability to upload a picture, but we don't want to make things unnecessarily complicated, so we're just going to skip this. I believe it should be optional anyways. Now let's solve this CAPTCHA and put the CAPTCHA solution in that box. And this button It's a bit difficult to see for some reason, but this says move to the next step. So we're just gonna click that button and press save. Okay, so now we've pretty much automated the first page of this. So let's start from here and let's run all these different steps. Now, the reason it's showing this CAPTCHA entry window is because in Senuke I've disabled automatic CAPTCHA solving just to make life easy, so I don't have to wait a couple minutes for somebody else to solve this CAPTCHA. But if you do enable automatic CAPTCHA solving from the options screen, then this CAPTCHA is going to be solved automatically. So you won't need to type in the actual CAPTCHA here. But for now, we're just going to work with manual CAPTCHA solving. Okay, great. So everything worked just as planned. Now let's select this element. Let's wait for this piece of text. And that's great. So now we've automated filling in the username, password, and creating the account. Alright, so now that we've created the basic account creation script, we want to think of other possibilities. Now, before I move on, I forgot to add a mark finish step, which tells Senuke that everything is complete here. Now, we have to think of other possibilities. What if the user is already logged in and then tries to create an account? So let's run this script from the beginning and let's see what happens. It navigates to delicious.com, but you'll notice that the page doesn't change. It stays on this page, and this countdown timer at the bottom, it says waiting for 10, 9, 8, 7 seconds. And once it's going to reach 0, it's going to start all over again from the beginning. So what we notice is that once you create an account at Delicious, it creates a cookie on your system so that the next time you go to visit that website, it's not going to show you the Join Delicious page. It's just going to automatically log you in. So if you're creating your first account at Delicious, you don't need to worry about that. But what if you're going to create multiple accounts? So every time before signing up, we should probably log out first. So how do we log out? Normally, we'll be able to find a button here that says log out. But in this case, I'm just going to predict that the logout URL is delicious.com/logout. I happen to know that this URL works, but this website is weird. It doesn't actually give you a logout link, but you won't have that problem. Almost every website will give you a logout link. So now how do we figure out when to go to the logout page? What we could do is we could simply change the site URL here to delicious.com/logout. So every time it tries to create an account, it first goes to the logout page and then it starts the whole process. Now that is the route that I would have normally taken, but in this case I want to show you guys how to jump between different steps, so I'm going to take a different route. What I'm going to do is after it navigates to delicious.com, it waits for this piece of text, Join Delicious. Now I'm also going to add an alternate piece of text for it to find. So I'm going to add a vertical pipe here, the same as what you do when you're spinning something. And then I'm going to type in the words following. Now over here you see the word following. I'm assuming that this word only shows up if the user is already logged in. If this page said something like the word logout, then I would use that word instead, but it doesn't. So I could even use the word joined or minutes ago or anything that you think would only show up once a user is already logged in. So in this case, I'm going to use the word following. Now, after waiting for that piece of text, now if it finds either of these two pieces of text, it's going to move on to the next step. So now we're going to add a jump to condition. And we're going to say if the word following was found, then jump to a certain step. In this case, when I add this step, I know that I already have step 15 here. So once I press the save button, this jump to step is going to become step 16. So I'm going to type in step number 17. just as a placeholder. You can even type in step number 99 here and just press save. Now I'm going to move this over here, and so what I've just accomplished is going to wait for either of these two pieces of text. If it finds the text following, then it's going to jump to a certain step. Now we have to figure out how to log out of this page. So after the mark finish step, I'm going to add a new step which navigates to delicious.com/logout. So what's going to happen is once it comes to this step, now we're going to tell it to jump to step number 17. So once it comes to this step and the word following is found in the page, it's going to jump right here. Now let's run this step and let's see the page that shows up after. Okay, so just like predicted, it logs you out and it shows you the original Join Delicious page. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add another jump to step, and that step is going to take us to condition number 2 again. Okay, so now what we're trying to accomplish is that once it comes here and it logs you out, it jumps back to step number 2, and step number 2 basically looks for Join Delicious or following, and it's not going to find the word following because now it's logged out. So it's just going to continue everything below it and it's going to create the account like normal. Now to test this, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sign into our account because we're logged out, and we want to test how the script performs once we're already logged in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste the username and password and log in manually. Okay, so now I'm going to run the script from the beginning. It's navigating to delicious.com. It comes to this page. It finds the word following. It takes to the logout page. Then it jumps to step number 2 again, and everything behaves like it should. Alright, now anytime that it's not able to find the text in the wait for condition, you'll see this timer start. It starts from 20 seconds and it's going to go all the way down to 0, and then it's going to auto retry the script from step number 1 again. Now, why is it not able to find this piece of text? We did everything. We clicked the button over here, right here, the register button. We clicked that button, and now we were expecting to see the words "you currently have no links." But we saw these words instead. The username has already been taken. So now this is something else that we need to take into account. What if the username that we're trying to sign up with has already been taken? Now, in all my experience developing Senuke, what I've noticed is most of the time when it says username has already been taken, that means that that username actually belongs to us and our account was already created. It's just that the script auto retried for some reason, and it tried creating that account again, and the website told us, hey, you've already created this account. So the first possibility is that we've created this account already, so mark everything as successful, everything's already been done. The second possibility is that somebody else has actually used this username. Now that possibility is very rare because we recommend to all our users to put numbers in the username and pick a difficult username that others would not have chosen. So the one solution we could take to this problem is we could try to add, let's say, the number 1 at the end of the username and try to retry the whole account creation from the beginning with a new username because we found this piece of text. Or what we can do is we can just assume that if it says the word's already been taken, that account actually belongs to us, which is what I'm going to do in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a vertical pipe, just like I did before, and I'm going to specify already been taken. So if it either finds the page that says you currently have no links, which is the page that shows up after creating an account successfully, or it finds the words already been taken, in either case, it's just going to jump to the next step. It's not going to retry the script from the beginning. Okay, so now let's run this whole thing again. And this time, everything should be successful. There we go. It says script finished. So script finished is a good sign. You'll notice that once it gets to this mark finish step, it's not going to go to any steps below it, because the mark finish step tells the script to stop right there. Don't go any farther. Now the other condition that could possibly happen is the user types in the wrong CAPTCHA. Um, Now the reason that I haven't added a specific code just for that condition is because once you click this button, it's going to wait for either of these two pieces of text. Now, if you enter the wrong CAPTCHA, neither of these two pieces of text will actually show up. It's going to say something like CAPTCHA is invalid. So what's going to happen is it's going to wait for these two pieces of text for 20 seconds. It's not going to be able to find them, so it's going to start the script from the very beginning. So it's actually accomplishing what we wanted to accomplish, just simply retry everything from the beginning because the CAPTCHA was not found. So in this case, we don't need to specifically set up manual conditions in case the CAPTCHA was incorrect. And that's all the conditions that we need to take into account for pretty much any account creation script. The first condition is think about what happens if the user is already logged in. And the second condition is what if that username has already been taken. So once we modify the script to handle those two conditions, we're done our account creation script, and it's going to work really, really well.